As you may know, Spotify it's a service, right? Mm-hmm. And as a service, given the fact that they are kind of following the same rules and regulations that applies to software, they have the right to change the terms of service every so often, every so they see fit. So the thing is this: they recently updated their the services. What's the name?
Thermal services.
The thermal services. Thank you. And people started to realize that there is something funky going on with a particular paragraph that I will read out loud and verbatim as it is right now. Okay. You hereby grant to Spotify a non-exclusive, transferable, sub-licensable, royalty-free, fully paid, irrevocable, worldwide license to reproduce, make available, perform, display, translate, modify, create derivative works from super keyword here, distribute, and otherwise use any such user content through any medium. You also agree to waive and not to enforce any moral right or equivalent right, such as your right to be identified as the author of any user content, including feedback, and your right subject to derogatory treatment of such user content. I'm not a lawyer, disclaimer, but first and foremost, I try to draw your attention to this particular section, which is create derivative works from. This is where the AI stuff kicks in. First and foremost, they are saving their asses for the potentiality of technology evolving and producing something else that they haven't thought of right now.
Yeah.
Why? What kind of change could happen in the near future related to music? And why do they have to put this kind of language where it comes to translate, modify, or create derivative works from, in between distribute and make available? Mm-hmm. What kind of technology is developing right now that it's super reliant on having or sampling previously created works of, I don't know, illustration, for example, don't know, maybe movies, for example, or, God save us, music? Why would a Spotify that happens to own basically every freaking record in the world in their vaults would will coerce you or force you to let them use your stuff, maybe, I don't know, to sell it to OpenAI so they can train their freaking models even more using your stuff, and you get 0 dimes out of it, because whenever you uploaded your shit to Spotify, you have to say, I agree with this.
Yeah.
So, and the best part, it's international. That means that anywhere you go, regardless of the jurisdiction, there is no country, there is no court of law in any given country that will help you or allow you to put up a fight, because when you signed this, you accepted that everywhere in the world, you already relinquished your rights to your stuff. And every freaking YouTuber is, but my music, my creation. It's not your creation, dude. They are feeding a Skynet with this shit. Clearly. And they're gonna make millions upon millions. Crazy pills or what? Now addressing the comments. Sorry, but I needed to speak, and I'm sorry, and I am aware that I'm not. I should have read it properly, but you can see I'm passionate about this.
Yeah.
Because nobody's getting it. Everybody's, my music, my rights. Who cares, man? Nobody listens to your shit. And I'm not trying to be mean, because the same happens to me. The problem is that those sons of a gun are actually taking advantage of your craft, your effort, to train your replacement. Now I agree with every single one of you who are concerned with being replaced by AI, because these guys are actually taking advantage of all of the effort you put into to program the freaking robot that will control Spotify even further, to the point of you will be not remembered. Comments.
Okay. Take a breather.
Yes. Just here's saying he couldn't make it for the show, so hopefully you will see this rant later. But he's saying through a super chat, I got about 220 original songs on Spotify, and I only made like 35 cents. It's been years and made no money. Why? If I recall correctly, because I've been doing a quite thorough research when it comes to Spotify. I've been reading plenty of stuff. I haven't presented any form of discoveries or form of information yet because I want it to be properly documented. I don't want to say something that is unfounded, right? But you basically make like 0.000, like add 6 zeros or 7 cents out of 10 seconds of music playback. The rest goes straight to Spotify. How much are they making? Basically nothing as well. And the thing is that it seems that freaking Spotify has been, since the beginning, working or playing at a loss.
Why would they?
Because it's been subsidized by big labels. A good chunk of the ownership of Spotify is owned by Sony Music. It's one of the big ones. I don't know. I don't remember exactly which one, but it's one of those gigantic guys. And under the premise that it's evening out or leveling the playing field for all of the musicians in the world.
Is it?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's been subsidized, man. That's why whenever you join in and try to see what's going on, what could be the new hottest thing, it's always the same stuff. Yeah. It's almost like turning on MTV because it's basically MTV now on a digital format. Yeah. Now continuing with the comments. Roman here. So how is it going on? Here, he's saying, I used Amuse for a while, but Spotify gave me more perks, so I moved to Spotify. That's a lot of legal language. What does it mean? Yeah, musicians lose again. Yes, everything is against 100%, man. Every single thing is designed for you to lose, and that applies to basically everything you do in life. I gotta be careful because, when you're a business owner, you start to see shit, and you learn to read a little bit of legalese. That's why as soon as I read this, I'm like, damn! Comments.
Look, before we get into the repercussions of this, let's understand a little bit the size, the magnitude of the trap that they put us in.
Because, first and foremost, do I look like the guy on the meme?
You look enough, I think.
But sensical, right?
Yeah, no, it is 100%. And this part of the conversation is probably going to give even more sense to that.
Yes, please do.
You see that as a musician nowadays, you can't even be considered a musician if you're not on Spotify. If you don't have your stuff there, it's basically the same as not existing as a musician.
Yes.
So you gotta be there. By default, you gotta be there. And by default, they have the rights to do whatever they want with your music.
Yes.
Changing it, doctoring it, remixing, or selling it.
Yeah.
As a what's the name? It's not a
data.
It's data.
It's basically data banks.
To other companies. You mentioned one very likely possibility, one very likely scenario, which is the training of AI. By default, summarizing the whole thing, as a musician, you're letting AI control your shit. Not control your shit. Use your shit to develop.
Yes.
We had talked about AI on previous conversations, and we always talked about the uncertainty of the legal aspect of how AI would be dealt with in the near future. Yep. They actually they established a legal background in which they can do whatever they want without repercussions, and you as a musician sign for it.
Yes, that's why I put so much emphasis on the fact that they are talking about or mentioning technology available today or to be developed, known or unknown.
Yeah.
So basically speaking, if something happens revolutionary in the world of music distribution or music alone, we're recovered.
Yeah.
We don't even know what it is right now, but we're covered.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. And the worst part, you said it right. You said it right. If you want to be seen as a serious musician, your stuff has to be on Spotify.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be considered a musician, right? And why? Cultural zeitgeist is more about that than anything else. And you got the social pressure of actually being there for obvious reasons. If you want to pursue a career in this shit, you wouldn't like to be part of Skynet, right? As 99% of musicians that might be watching this, I want to believe.
Yeah.
But you're forced to, if you want to have a chance.
Yeah.
Because how do you distribute your music? How do you want to be discovered by the masses? You want your stuff to be available in the biggest market possible, right? Or to the biggest market possible, in the biggest distribution platform possible, right? Which is Spotify. For as much as I always advocate for the use of Apple Music because they are less draconian. Don't get me wrong, they're not our friends either. But out of the options, is the least of the problems we got right now.
Yeah.
Spotify is basically controlling the market. The market is basically YouTube. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, when it comes to the video distribution platforms.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of you going super principled and I'm just gonna be uploading stuff to Rumble? Which, by the way, we're broadcasting on Rumble as well. The vast majority of the market is in YouTube. And how do we know? You just have to do some quick research, and you'll see that it's like 80% of the traffic when it comes to video content consumption.
Probably more, yeah.
It's on YouTube alone, man. So it's ridiculous because also Facebook is a huge player in that area, and now even X. So you see the problem. You're forced as a musician to be part of basically the system that is meant to destroy you in the near future.
Yeah. Because look, at other points where we talked about the whole notion of AI doing music and stuff, I was always advocating the idea of not being that concerned about, look, AI can only do so much. And also, we musicians still have some form of relevancy because we're going to be able to produce stuff that is better than AI and is ours.
Yes.
The thing is, not ours anymore. And this is kind of a game changer in that regard.
Yeah.
Even my own outlook when it comes to the whole notion of AI music being a threat is beginning to be altered by this particular phenomenon.